Welcome to Cast of Wonders, the fiction audio magazine for young adults featuring stories of the fantastic. I'm Graham Dunlop, and welcome to the final episode for 2011. Cast of Wonders is taking a break over the festive season, but don't worry, we'll be back in 2012. Watch the website for details. Today we present Rust by Brian Griggs. He's taught junior high for 10 years, 5 as an English teacher and 5 as a teacher librarian. Of this story he says, "I had a great chemistry teacher when I was in high school that greatly influenced my writing of Rust." You can find out more about Brian at briangriggs.com. That's Griggs with a double G. Check the show notes for details. And now, for the last time this year, we've a tale to tell. Rust by Brian Griggs. It felt right, I say. Maybe it's your fault. Aidan's switchblade against my throat tells me I'm wrong. His face is so close to mine that I can smell the summer sausage he ate this morning. Then explain to me why my client spent $50,000 on £10 worth of rusty metal. I had hoped it wouldn't happen so quickly this time. It's always like I'm on a boat sailing through outer space atop invisible rapids. This time I saw the atoms so clearly that I reached out and plucked a proton from one and added it to another. I threw a couple more on for good luck. The heat from those tiny suns is addicting. Every time I get in there, it's like I'm taking a bath in pure energy. When I step out of the tub, though, I'm never clean. Aidan Baker sought my services through the Transmuters Guild. I still think having to follow a guild's laws is ridiculous. This is the 21st century. No one runs around in tights and spouts these and thous anymore. Guild rules is supposed to keep pioneers like me from knife point in a urine-soaked warehouse in downtown Phoenix. Mr. Levesque is not happy, Dylan, and that makes me not happy. Aidan hadn't backed up yet. The meat stuck in his teeth causes bile to rise in my throat. He's going to come looking for his money, and he's not as patient as I am. I don't dare gulp for fear of slicing my own throat. Well, my boy, how much do you think your family would pay to get their pretty son back? My mother left 8 years ago and my father's dead, so probably not much. Aidan's knuckles brush my throat, and that's the end of him. Skin makes contact. I can still see him standing in front of me, but now I gaze through him. I am in him. I almost vomit on the spot. Oxygen calls out to me. I listen to an atom, sympathetic to its microcosm, and then slam my will on it. I rip a layer of electrons off, strip its nucleus bit by bit until only one proton and one neutron remain. The spark of life holds on in orbit. One atom bumps another and passes on the new design. Aidan trembles. His pupils dilate, then his lids begin to close. I back up before he cuts my throat. I grab his shoulders and ease him to the ground. Since I transmuted all of the water in his body to pure hydrogen, if he hits the ground hard he could light up like the Hindenburg. Taking out Aidan Baker does not solve my problem with Mr. Levesque. I expect a visit from his hired guns to recover the $50,000. I don't have that kind of money, so they'll probably cut out my kidneys as a loan advance. Finding enough nickel to turn into platinum will be an issue. Common metals are becoming more rare each month as guild demands increase. Copper has been the lifeblood of Arizona, but all of the mines have dried up. On top of that, Levesque will kill me instead of accepting another load from me. And who can blame him? I'll have to find something to transmute that will last long enough to pawn. I need a pawn shop with loose anti-guild policies. I am a crappy god. I can mould the universe with my hands, yet nothing stays. Other mutes have held for 20, 30 years, ample time for them to pass through enough hands. At least some of us can make a living. What makes something last? It's part science, part art. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. I walked down Van Buren to Andre's, a dealer who would sell his grandmother's bones if anyone would take them. A couple chats while waiting for the crosswalk. A homeless man sits in a pile of flannel and beard. An Escalade turns the corner slowly, and as it passes by me, I stare at the tinted windows. Will I be able to feel the bullet tearing my flesh before I die? Could Levesque be that quick to strike? A cardboard box almost hits me in the head. A woman standing on the steps of an apartment building pleads with a man, "Just give us one more month, I'll have it then." Two kids attached to her legs watch their mother beg. "That's what you said last month and the month before that. My family needs people who can pay their rent." The landlord shrugs and goes back inside the building. The young mother unsuccessfully tries to hide her tears from her kids. She notices me and pulls her kids closer. "Let me help you with that," I offer. "I'm okay," she says as she moves towards her box of sold possessions. I get there first and start scooping clothing back into the box. My handbrush is metal. Nickel. I can pocket this, slip it down my sleeve while I pick up her laundry. Andre would pay good money for the chance to pass this off to someone else. I'm in the tiny galaxy of the metal. I can coax electrons into orbit, pat down some particles, and have a pure platinum necklace. I start when crying stabs into my new world. She's not greedy, this mother. At least I don't think she is. But how do I know? How do I know she's different from Levesque? I don't. I must trust. Her kids need me to trust, to have faith that they're worth it. "Wow, you should take better care of this," I say as I hand the mother her platinum necklace. She looks at it incredulously. Her tears are no longer restrained. I see the water streaming down her face and think of the hydrogen-filled Aidan Baker. We all rust if you think about it. It's only smart to fight for the things that don't. And so ends Rust. Rather too soon, in my opinion. I'd love to hear more about Dylan and his strange powers. What about you? Come tell us what you thought of the story in the forums at castofwonders.org/forums. As I said in the intro, we're taking a break over the festive season. But if you're looking for more podcasty goodness until we return, I can highly recommend The Brothers Grimm Lunch, hosted by Eric Wagoner. A few times a week over his lunch break, Eric records, edits and publishes one of the original 250 fairy tales collected by the Brothers Grimm and translated to English by Dr. Jack Zipes. They're usually quite short. These are classic fairy tales, but be warned, this is the Brothers Grimm we're talking about. So they don't always have a happy ending, and some of them are a little gruesome. These are not your Disney fairy tales, but they are entertaining. You can find the Brothers Grimm Lunch at grimmlunch.libsyn.com or on iTunes. Check the show notes for details. Cast of Wonders is released under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license. Share it, but don't change it or sell it. Theme is Appeal to Heavens by Alexei Nov from musicalley.com.